Ah, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Meta Cafe. I am Janet Hickox, and you might notice there's a new face sitting next to me this morning. Remember, poor Jason is going to be in the dentist, and he's got to have his wisdom teeth pulled, and so yucca, we're sending him lots of love and blessings, and hopefully he gets through that really easy. But gracing me this morning is my friend Jana Groscot, and she is from New Moon Manifesting. So welcome, Jana. Thank you for stepping in and helping out when Jason was not able to.
Oh, I know. It's some big shoes to fill, but I'm excited to be here. So thanks for inviting me.
You are most welcome. It was one of those brain farts that I had yesterday afternoon, and all of a sudden I just went, oh my gosh, I can invite people to sit in here with me. Never thought of that. So welcome and thank you so much. Jana is, Jana, we go back several years because I don't even know how we first connected, but I've done astrology readings for her. I've followed her career as she's moved into more about the new moon and creating money flow and abundance, correct? Is that that's a new project?
Yeah, so I love teaching people about manifesting, period. And as a retired tax accountant, teaching people about money is near and dear to my heart, especially women, because we need to feel empowered, and money has such an interesting influence on us. So my passion is really helping them manifesting in more money or better health or whatever it is. And so I have many programs that support them, as well as the lunar cycles to support them.
I'm just asking the audience to let me know if they can hear you, because I'm having trouble hearing. If they can hear you, I'm fine. If not, anyway. So Jana's joining me this morning because we're coming up to the new moon. And so she's going to help us work through the energies of the new moon. And let's see, this morning, the moon is already at 3 degrees Scorpio. So we already have what is called a stellium in astrology of planets that are sitting in Scorpio. We have the moon, Jupiter, Venus, and the sun. Stellium requires 4 or more planets, and we have them there. And when we have that, then it puts a lot of focus in the same house or in the same sign, however that falls in your chart. So looking at the chart of the day, Jana, it looks like all of this energy is lining up between the 11th and the 12th house. Now, this is a big picture sort of chart that I've drawn. So it's not individualized as much, but it does tell me a key piece of information that I find almost hysterically funny. And that is Scorpio is a sign that we often think of with intrigue and secrets being revealed and some of the underbelly things coming up and being exposed to the surface. And in the 12th house, we have the same motif, right? Of the hidden coming up and being exposed. Good morning, Katie. It's good to see you out there. And so here we have the new moon, and I think it's coming up in this, same relative area. And it seems to me like this is going to be a time where we're going to find out some really big pieces of information, whether that's the Robert Mueller investigation, whether that's the workings of the Senate and the House and what's going on, and trying to pass the tax package, whether that's something personal going on in your life. It just has that feel of like this stuff just under the surface, getting ready to bubble up. When the moon joins the gang in Scorpio, though, we have, things that can happen sort of in the moment, and then it can pass as the moon passes through. It's heading for its rendezvous with the sun on Saturday morning. Now we are a West Coast contingent this morning, aren't we, Jana? You're sitting in
I'm
Santa Barbara.
I'm in California, just north of Santa Barbara.
Woohoo! So, and I'm in Washington, so we are heavily on the left coast this morning. But if you're joining us from the East Coast, that's okay. We love you too. But anyway, so for us on the West Coast, the new moon happens at 26 Scorpio at 3:42 a.m. Saturday morning. So while you're blissfully, hopefully asleep, the new moon occurs where you wake up to something fresh and new. Now, Jana, tell us about your work with new moon manifesting. How do you work with the new moon?
So I specifically, obviously talk about the energy of the new moon. Oh yeah, you're on the West Coast too. Awesome. So I bring in a lot of energy elements because we're influenced by so many different things. And the new moon, obviously, we're less emotional typically, but wow, this Scorpio new moon, no, that's, no, we are totally, yeah, I know. I've heard that all week long since I posted my blog. Oh my gosh, I'm so emotional. There's so much that's taking place. I don't even know what to do. And, you know, like you just said, with all this unearthing that's coming up, it's really bringing to the surface all of our fears, all of our concerns. And one of the things that I love working with to support us energetically is essential oils. And so one of my favorite oils for this new moon is juniper berry. I don't know if you can see that. So
what kind of berry? I can't. Juniper berry?
Juniper berry.
Oh, nice.
So juniper berry helps us in moving the fluids in our body. Like physically, it moves the fluids of our body and supports the kidneys and the overall flow. But it also helps us in addressing any fears that we have coming up. So Scorpio's really good at that. You know?
Yes, it is.
Bringing all that hidden stuff to the surface and helping us to transform it once and for all. So this is one of the oils that I love for this new moon. And then I also love frankincense.
Oh, that is my favorite oil ever. I love the smell of frankincense.
So amazing. So any tree oils, you think about a tree. Trees are sturdy, they're stable, they're grounded, they move and grow slowly. So trees help us to calm down. And so anything that you can do to calm down, you're going to be better off in setting your intentions or just managing your moods and emotions overall. So frankincense also supports us in seeing our truth. And how important is it? You know, like we have some version of the truth going on in our head, but it may not be
some version.
You know, because we have these perceptions and we put life through whatever filter that we've been, you know, dealt in life. And frankincense helps us see, hey, this may not be your truth. And so with the Scorpio energy, I really love that. And then the last oil that I love is called bergamot.
Bergamot. Now that reminds me of Earl Grey tea.
Oh yeah, I love it just for that fact. But this is the citrus oil, and it's really uplifting, but it supports us in. So when I think of Scorpio, I'm thinking both of throat chakra and the sacral chakra, so second chakra too. So sacral chakra is all about standing in your personal power, right? And Scorpio is about taking power back. And bergamot helps us in feeling more confident within ourselves. And when we feel more confident, you're going to be able to express yourself better. So if you're looking for, you know, frankincense is going to help you in speaking your truth. If you're nervous in doing that and maybe expressing some difficult emotions that you're going through, then my go-to is lavender. Because lavender, you know, it's calming and soothing to the nervous system, and it supports us overall. So essential oils are one of the tools that I use with this lunar cycle. Looking, you know, at the body as a physical representation of what's taking place energetically with us will help us in really navigating, you know, the challenges that we're facing, because this does not feel like a new moon.
So let me ask you something, because there may be people out there that listen to this either live or later that don't know what to do with those oils. I mean, obviously you can't just come and slather 15 different scents on your body as you're, you know, moving through the day. So how do you use them? Are you taking the lid off and just smelling them? Are you dabbing a little bit on yourself? What do you do with them?
Good question. So there's 3 ways that I use essential oils, and not all essential oils are created equal. And in fact, I've had some essential oils where I put them on topically and I ended up getting a chemical burn from them. So if you have, that's why I went to doTERRA, is because after 20 years of using oils, it's the only one that I found to be pure and natural. So smelling them, just taking the lid off the bottle, breathing it in, it's going to get into the olfactory system of your brain and start changing your brain's chemistry. So if you feel uptight and tense or frustrated or angry, you want to change the chemistry of your body, right? I mean, think of a time when you've been just raging mad. you feel your blood is boiling. There's a
boiling.
Yeah, exactly. There's a chemical reaction that's taking place in your body, right? And it's probably getting flooded with toxins, right? So it's like, how do we bring that body back into balance so that you're not triggered over and over again? Because the more used to our body gets to a certain chemical, the more we're going to like get triggered by it. So that's one of the reasons I love using oils, is bringing that balance and chemistry and changing our body's chemistry to bring it back into balance. So yes, definitely opening the bottle and just smelling it. I apply it topically. So this is lavender. I'll put it on the back of my neck for calming and soothing, maybe over my throat if I'm going to speak. Speaking up, speaking my truth, even just rubbing your hands together and just breathing it in.
Smelling it.
And I'll use a couple of tapping moves where if you just tap on the center of your chest and the center of your forehead and then hold, and then just take a deep breath in and out. And I'll just say something like, be here now. And it brings me into this centered, focused place where, I'm going to get all the clarity that I need. Now, because of doTERRA's, I've got a diffuser going in the back here, if you can.
Oh, that's cool.
So it gets it.
So you just put a couple drops of the oil in there?
I put 3 drops of oil, and it has water in it, and it just fills the room.
What oil do you have going right now?
So I actually have a new oil that doTERRA just came out with. It's called copaiba. And tree oil from the Amazon, and it has so many delicious benefits from supporting the immune system, supporting the respiratory system. As a tree oil, it's going to be very grounding. It's from the Amazon. Just a lot of history and beautiful energy. It supports the nervous system. So it's one of my favorite go-tos right now is copaiba. Because of the purity of doTERRA's oils, some of them you can take internally. I'll put a drop in my water. So I actually don't drink coffee, but I have my hot water with wild orange.
My coffee. my brown water.
Brown water it is. Your mud water.
It's made with water. Come on.
It's mostly water. True.
Indeed. Indeed.
So I love citrus oils in my water because they help cleanse and detoxify the body by taking them internally. So probably the 2 biggest ways that I recommend the oils is obviously topically and then aromatically. And then with some oils, and it's getting into your skin just by putting it on your skin. It's not a sealed system. It absorbs into the bloodstream almost immediately.
And did I hear you say that the copaiba oil helps the respiratory system? Yes,
absolutely.
That's really good because we're, heading into winter here. And I know that I caught a cold, or I actually had laryngitis a week or so ago, but the cough part is still hanging on, driving me crazy. So I may need to grab myself some of that and infuse it through the air here.
Even peppermint. Peppermint's really good at opening up the air passages. Rosemary's really good at breaking up the mucus. So if you still have that, the respiratory stuff, that there's still stuff in there, then using rosemary over your chest and on the bottom of your feet will support you. The acupressure points for the sinuses are on the tips of the toes. So you can actually put peppermint on the tips of your toes, and within seconds, your nose will be clear. It's amazing. You have to try it. I know, you have to try it.
I need to get it just so I can try that. No, if I'm not mistaken, doTERRA is a sort of marketing company, right? So you buy it through a representative, obviously, which you are. How can people, if they're listening this morning and want to go grab some oil from you, how do they find you so they can get it from you?
There's a couple of ways. So my doTERRA website is called mydoterra.com/Jana. I also have a Facebook group called Good Vibe Oil Tribe that they can join, and we learn more about oils. I'll be talking about oils tonight on my call for the new moon.
I put that up correctly?
Just like that. Yes, perfect. And you can definitely reach out to me, and we can find some, what's going to support you most at this time.
Okay. And so tell us what else you're up to.
So, new year.
Wait, hold on.
Great.
Because you started saying something about your new moon broadcast. Is that what you said?
Yes, so I'll have the new moon call tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time. This is a monthly free call, so you can jump on. I'll talk more about the new moon. We go through a guided imagery meditation at the end to help set your intentions. And I think it's going to be a pretty deep and profound. I never know because I don't prepare the meditation beforehand. I kind of let the mood and energy. Yeah, whatever moves me. And so it's always really interesting. I often put people to sleep, which I'm taking that as a good sign and not, like I'm putting them to sleep.
So obviously you don't do this new moon meditation driving.
No. You need to find a place that you can be calm and relaxed. And, obviously with it being on the East Coast, it's a great thing to do right before going to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Chakra balancing, how to see the imbalances with the Scorpio energy. We'll talk about Jupiter because I'm just loving this Jupiter energy in Scorpio right now.
It's weird. Jupiter in Scorpio it's a good thing. I mean, I don't mean that, but I'm a Gemini. Aren't you a Gemini? No, you're a Capricorn. Yeah, you're Capricorn. So it's probably less likely to cause you issues. But Scorpio is square to Geminis. So for me, sometimes that depth, that intensity of that Scorpion energy, it just makes me nervous. It makes me very unsettled. And so I was thinking when you were talking about some of the oils like rosemary or whatever that can ground you a bit, that it would be a really good thing because it does make me feel very weird. It would also make the people who are Pisceans kind of feel that way. Not Pisceans, I'm sorry. Virgos feel a little bit like that as well. So interesting how to use oils in association with astrology. But I do love the idea of Jupiter and Scorpio because it's just kind of fun and juicy to watch all the crap and dirt coming up, and getting aired out, things that have long lied in the dark, like all of this idea of how men in Hollywood, in politics, were abusing women for all of these years, abusing their power as it relates to women, and all of that being exposed. You can thank Jupiter and Scorpio for that one. And of course, it's there for almost a year. I mean, we've just scratched the tip of the iceberg here.
Oh, I know. And that's why I'm so excited about it. It's just so... I've had both previous cycles that we were in like this. I had profound things that happened, and I'm really looking forward to this new year because of the my intentions. Because before I was kind of not tracking it, and now that I'm tracking it and see what I tracked before unconsciously, now I'm consciously tracking it, and that's just like the cream of the crop.
It's definitely going to be interesting. And then the new moon itself is interesting astrologically because typically what we've been talking about over the last several new moons is that there's a huge number of energies that are connected to that new moon. So there were squares to Saturn. There were, Uranus was involved. This is like almost quiet as a new moon goes, so that the energies of the sun and the moon aren't being diluted by the cacophony of all these other planets that are connected to it. In fact, when I pulled the chart this morning, let me look here real quick. There's an inconjunct, not an inconjunct, what is that called? A semi-square to Saturn by the sun, and an inconjunct to Uranus. Nothing much there. A trine to Chiron, and a square to, and that's not even effective, never mind. So there's, and that's with the sun and the moon. So there's not much going on. So the purity of the sun moon conjunction here holds sway. And that's something I haven't seen, God, even through the summer. It seemed like every new moon coming along had something where it was,
power. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe there's a bit of a purity here in the way the energy will express itself because of not having so many different planets that are also, playing in energetically. It doesn't mean they're not out there and they're not, part of the scheme. They're just in the background this time. And I kind of like that because, Thanksgiving's next week and we don't need a lot of scritchy energy running around, the dining room table.
Yeah.
it would be nice to have, a lot of fun during Thanksgiving. So one last thing before we go here, you said you have this call. Where can people find the information for that call? Should they go to your website?
Yes. So my website is newmoonmanifesting.com, and they can join the live call for tonight. Just register, and I send updates for the new and full moon. Perfect.
Nice.
So that
She's a moon child, people.
Those are only 2 blog posts that I even write every month, just because there's so many other things going on. But they're action packed. I like the number. I love the numerology of this new moon. Since it's a 26 degrees, it's going to be an 8. So
yes,
it's all about personal power. It's about money and standing in our power and reclaiming our power. And where have we given our power away? And that goes back to what's been unearthed, where these women, their power has been taken away, women and men, and now they're reclaiming it by bringing shame out of the closet. And so we can't heal when we hold on to the emotions. And once we can release the emotion, we can heal.
I know energetically it feels to me like there was so much potential for a paradigm shift as we started moving into 2011 and 2012, right? You could just feel it was palpable.
Absolutely.
And then it's almost like some kind of interference pattern came in at that same time that disrupted the whole launch of that new paradigm. And astrologically, there were a lot of things going on too that could have been creating this interference pattern. But I feel like suddenly the interference pattern has been waylaid or somehow muted, and the paradigm shift is back underway. Now, of course, paradigm was always shifting. I mean, lots of things were happening that we could point to that say, the paradigm was shifting. But I got to tell you, last year's election made me go, oh my God, what happened here, right? I started to feel like that paradigm is not happening. Like somehow something else happened here. And finally, it feels like there was a rightness to what happened, right? That there is a rightness, even though at the time it seemed very dark and very out of sync with what I felt to be true, right? And now I feel like, oh, I get it, because there's this groundswell of personal power that's coming up that through the collective or through the grassroots that I can feel. I can literally feel this power rising. And I think that is why we see things coming out now and getting traction, because there have been women all along talking about, their mistreatment in Hollywood. There have been women all along that have been coming out and saying what politicians have done to them. I mean, we've always heard it. We've just never really said, let's do something about it. So now you feel this groundswell of,
It was totally swept under the rug. It was like, oh yeah, whatever. That's just boys being boys or whatever. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
We're not accepting that.
Yeah, the days of the empowered white male are numbered. Not because I was brushing my hair this morning thinking profound thoughts, and the one thought that kept coming to my mind is it's time to sweep all those old white men out of Congress because they no longer represent the bulk of the people in this nation. Not that they're bad people. Please don't mistake me. I don't mean that at all. I'm just saying they do not any longer represent the people, and that's what they're there to do, represent the people.
And we're seeing that more and more. There's so many women that are throwing their hat into the ring that, where there's multiple women in the same candidacy. And it's so exciting because it's like, finally, we're able to, honor our power and stand it and be appreciated and valued for it. And that's all we want, right?
Yeah. And what else is kind of funny is Venus is in Scorpio at the same time that Jupiter's in Scorpio. And every time Venus moves into Scorpio, I always think, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. I don't know. I mean, she has that tendency to take on that scorpion. Let's see, you didn't see it coming, but now I've gotcha. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that out there in some of what's going on in the world. So again, it's why I named my business Living Astrology, because literally we are living it. we're experiencing it. It is all around us. It is all within us, and we see the effects of it every day. And it's just funny to be able to chart it, now in these daily talks that we have, to see how it's unfolding right before our very eyes. Almost like we can cue in and we can just see, that's the next step. Oh, and the next one's over there. And tomorrow's another step. So it is kind of interesting times.
Yeah, there's no need to second guess. It's like, here's the step, now take it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jana, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Is there anything you'd like to say to the audience before we leave, about your work, about anything?
I'm very excited about what's taking place, like we've been talking about with women, standing in your power, honoring that, and do whatever you need to. Find the tools that support you. I have many free programs and offerings, and I love what Janet's doing with her work, because together we're going to be empowered and live our true destiny. So I really thank you for inviting me to join you today.
Well, thank you. In fact, what I'm thinking is that even when Jason's back, that once a month when we have the new moon, or maybe even twice when we get to the full moon, we'll have a three-way, because we could do that too. The platform I use allows interview mode, which is what you and I are doing this morning, but as well talk show mode, where the three of us could be on talking, and that might be kind of fun too, kind of spice up the month as we do these.
Let's do it.
Good morning. Natasha is going to be with us tomorrow morning. Natasha is an angel reader. She is from Angelic Clarifications, and she will be joining me tomorrow morning to talk about the angels and what the angels have to say about what's coming up. And of course, that's going to be fun, right? We got to hear what our angelic counterparts are saying.
So I pulled an angel card this morning for the energy of the moon, and I got patience.
Oh my gosh. Love it. What deck is that from, hun?
This is Doreen Virtue's Messages from Your Angels cards.
Very good.
Yeah.
We need patience, because we have Mars and Libra upsetting the harmony of things. So
yeah, I've been drawing.
And if my daughter's out there listening, Jennifer, that's a great card for you this week. Anyway, so thank you so much, Jana. It's been fun.
Yeah.
We look forward to having Natasha with us tomorrow morning. And everybody take care and have a stellar day. Bye for now.